Hello and welcome to Metaverse Commerce, a deep dive with Boson Protocol. Apologies for my shaky monitor there. Joining me today is Holly Atkinson, our head of Metaverse Technology, and Justin Banon, our co-founder. We've had a very, very exciting past week with the land purchase made in Decentraland. It's I believe the largest land purchase or Metaverse land purchase in history. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so very exciting times ahead, and it's just the beginning. I'm not going to say too much because that's what this presentation is all about. But this really is the genesis, and there is so much coming up ahead on the roadmap that I'm really, really excited to share with you. But yeah, enough of my rambling. I'll hand it over to Holly and Justin.
Thanks, Alastair. Great to be here. And hi everyone, thanks for joining. So today we're going to talk you through some of our plans for Metaverse Commerce. So I'll give you a bit of a deep dive into what we're doing there. So first I wanted to introduce you to Boson Protocol and our vision for being a decentralized exchange for anything. So what does that mean? Well, many of you will be familiar with the real-world data oracle problem, and that is that smart contracts can't trust real-world data, and this is addressed by data oracles like Chainlink. But a less familiar problem is the real-world asset oracle problem. So, if I tokenize my car and you buy that token representing the car. The problem is, how do you then take custody of the actual car? And that's a pretty fundamental problem. And so until now, that problem had been, primary solution for that problem had been a centralized intermediary or some sort of an escrow system managed by, a human. And so Boson Protocol enables this decentralized exchange of digital value for physical things.
And I think we're not showing the slides at this point, Justin. If
sorry.
Would like to hit share.
Let me do that. Thanks. Let me just whiz back. Apologies. Okay, so I'm going to skip through here the slides you missed. Apologies for that. So, yeah, decentralized exchange for anything. Here's our real-world data, the oracle problems with real-world data, and also real-world asset oracle problems. And so, Boson Protocol enables the decentralized exchange of digital value for physical things. But we use NFTs encoded with game theory. So you can think of Boson Protocol as kind of a futures contract that locks up buyer and seller deposits and payments, and then uses game theory to incentivize buyer and seller to go through with the transaction and to behave fairly. So. By using smart contracts and a decentralized protocol, Boson represents this decentralized commerce infrastructure. And so Boson is an infrastructure layer. You can think of Boson as almost like an internet for commerce that anyone can trust, anyone can use, and everyone can trust. So why is it important to have a decentralized commerce infrastructure layer? Well, if you look at current commerce platforms, I mean, the initial promise of Web 2 platforms, etc., was this whole sharing economy of increased efficiency and choice between buyer and seller. But actually, what these platforms have become is highly tuned, human value farms, if you like. They're designed to, initially focus on adoption and getting lots of participants, and then they rapidly move to extraction and lock in and to control entire marketplaces. And that's that's very prevalent in digital platforms, social media, etc., but also with e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Alibaba. And if you think, this vision of a metaverse is a digital place where humans will spend an increasing amount of their time, then the potential for capture by these extractionary platforms is even greater. And this sort of dystopian vision that you'd see in like The Matrix or Ready Player One, where these platforms actually own the world and extracting sort of 30% out of every transaction becomes a real possibility. And so Boson's vision is to disrupt and demonopolize e-commerce. Our aim is to create an alternative to that dystopian vision, and disrupt this whole sort of $30 trillion real world commerce market. However, it starts with Metaverse Commerce. So Metaverse Commerce is a very nascent sort of sector that we are getting in early, and we are building Boson technology across many worlds and many games to enable commerce that is non-extractionary and open. So where do we start with that? Well, we're going to be going across many worlds, starting with Decentraland. We're looking to kind of build it across CryptoVoxels, Somnium Space, and the Sandbox, and to enable real-world items to be sold in-game and in-world, and using Boson as this kind of this commerce bridge, if you like, between the metaverse and the universe. So, as we mentioned, our flagship mall will be in Decentraland. We made a significant purchase for a really premium piece of land, and within that space we'll be creating a virtual mall experience spaces, which is really about getting, whether it's sponsoring emerging digital fashion brands or other just sort of emerging digital brands, to have a place to sort of experiment and showcase, all the way to supporting more sort of physical luxury and sort of high street brands to have a presence in the metaverse and help connect them and enable them to do sort of digital to physical commerce with exciting gamified quests and digital to physical experiences. So really exploring and experimenting in this space and providing this integrating technology syndicated across all these worlds and all these games to enable this sort of capture resistant commerce. So as Alastair mentioned, yes, we made a big purchase in Decentraland to support this, which is right here in Vegas City, and we've got some incredible neighbors who we're also going to be collaborating with, and we're really happy and proud to be in this area of Decentraland. The initial construct that we have here is a ring of a ring of portals that has emerged mysteriously in the middle of our estate, and the expectation is that there will be, for each one of these portals, there will be a corresponding portal that could open up, for example, in the shop window of a high street store, or in a nightclub, or in a concert, and will give a window between the universe and the metaverse, and kind of linking those experiences. So we've got lots of super exciting kind of experiences that will be unveiled, and we are also looking for new partners. So if you have a great idea, or you want to get involved, now is a really good time to contact the team. So just sharing sort of some of these initial designs that we've got. We're using an amazing sort of metaverse architecture firm with Polygonal Mind, who are putting together some of these incredible concepts for us. And so, you know, an example of some of the spaces that we might have within this virtual mall would be a store area for big brands, you know, places to display NFT artwork, an event space where we can hold events, live gigs, competitions, and a sort of a food area where we can socialize, hang out, you know, probably a bar and a nightclub there, and then a sort of outdoor space for quests, activity, and etc. And then a large area for sort of single parcel stores. So we've got lots and lots of smaller, you know, creators and sellers. So to sort of recap, then, you know, our metaverse commerce strategy will enable digital to physical retail, create this amazing user experience, enable this experimentation, and really kind of package this media experience to bring sort of the more physical brands into this digital realm. And so over to Holly.
Thank you, Justin. So much like we did for CGC NFT, I'll give a bit of an introduction to what we mean by metaverse commerce in the context of in-world gaming, and then we'll move over shortly to actually show you the demo. So as Justin mentioned, Boson Protocol uses NFTs encoded with game theory to represent physical items, and you know, they could be any sort of retail item, and you've seen the floor plan for MetaMall. They could represent any real world item or service. And this is a huge opportunity for connecting in-game assets or collectibles with real world physical items or services in a decentralized way. And that's extremely empowering for those gamers, game creators and brands, as well as the virtual worlds themselves, who can benefit from these new types of revenue streams without the expensive centralized systems that we're all familiar with. So regarding the demo, which we'll move over to shortly, we've partnered with Crucible to showcase digital to physical in the metaverse. And you're going to see an example store environment built on the Unreal Engine, with Crucible having pioneered the avatar layer itself. And that store is built with a set of modular components that can be dropped into a game at engine level to allow those avatars to enter the metaverse and have a branded shopping experience in world. And that same sort of technology can be replicated across multiple engines, multiple metaverses, for all sorts of branded items, events, and other experiences, as we've talked about. So if we move over to the video now. So imagine you're playing the game and this is your avatar. You're walking around the store and you can browse different items of clothing, much like you would in a real life store. And when you purchase something like this jacket that's popped up, you actually purchase a commitment NFT, as we call them. And you can see all of your commitment NFTs for different items in your inventory. And when you want to redeem one, you would go to the relevant collection points. On mobile here, you'll open your Crucible app. You'll select the inventory item to be redeemed. And this will bring up a code. And you'll show this code to the merchants, who will scan the code from their tablet, and they'll check the status of the item and the payment. They will then hand over the physical item for you to inspect. And if you're happy, redemption is confirmed at that point. The merchant is notified of payment transfer. The transaction is then complete. And after a wait period, deposits are returned from Boson escrow, and the buyer is notified of their deposit coming back to them. And that is the end of our short demo for Metaverse Commerce in-game with the avatar layer. Obviously, with our move into Decentraland, We're very much looking for more amazing partners to showcase these incredible digital to physical experiences. We've got funding and sponsorship opportunities available too, and we're hiring. So we'd love to hear from you if you're interested in partnering with us, or if you're interested in working with us too.
Brilliant. Thank you, Holly. That ends our presentation for today. Do we go to questions?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. We have a couple of questions here, and I'm sure there'll be some more coming. The first one: are we hiring builders? I am a metaverse builder and specialised in gamified spaces. I would be extremely tickled if I could build for Boson, one of my most bullish projects. And I think Holly's already answered that one, and we absolutely 100% are hiring. We've just posted our job board link in the chat here as well. So it's boards.greenhouse.io/Boson Protocol. Next question we have here: when does your team believe this will come to fruition?
Happy to have a crack at that one. So the first version of our Metaverse Commerce in Decentraland, we are looking at later this year for a first version of that. In terms of the demo I showed, the particular Crucible demo, that is, I believe, in a private beta stage at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have a reference app that's launching in a couple of weeks. Yeah, and then a sort of sequential delivery of the Metaverse Commerce experience. From sort of around about September on through the end of the year.
Awesome. And does Amazon know about us? How many people are on the wait list?
Was that two separate ones?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. I'm sure they do. They're all seeing eye. Of course, they were free to imitate us, but we're a non-extractionary protocol. We share the value that's created with our token holders. So I think that might be a bit of a barrier to their kind of profit model.
Excellent. The questions are coming in thick and fast here. Where are we? We've answered that one. What type? Here we go. I'll record it. What types of merchants or commerce will be available during your first stage rollout?
So the first stage rollout, we've got a number of sort of digital fashion brands and digital to physical fashion brands, and also some luxury sort of alcohol brands that are looking to sponsor some sort of in-world nightclubs and bars. We've got events, a whole host of these sort of partners lined up. The aim is really to show a real kind of breadth of different experiences enabled by Boson technology. So yeah, the aim is to have a sort of a different category, if you like, for each one of these sort of portals.
Great. And here we go. What is the process of onboarding Metaverse brands? I can think of a few and would be helpful for them to know the steps to get in touch with you.
Well, I think at this stage it's to get in touch with us, and we then will have a conversation about these different opportunities that, we've got some packaged. I mean, we can be completely bespoke, but we've also got some sort of kind of templates that say, look, here's one where we can create a digital wearable and a physical twin, and how those could be solved within some sort of a gamified quest experience with retail space and advertising and in-store advertising and in-world advertising. So we've got some structure to it, and we talk the brands through that. But which just helps with sort of ideating. But equally, some brands are just coming to us saying, okay, we'd love to do this, is it possible? And then we'll work with them to make that possible as well.
Great. Justin and Holly, what are each of you most focused on? Holly, you take this one first.
Yeah, so my role, I'm head of Metaverse Tech. So I oversee and am responsible for builds on top of Boson Protocol in the Metaverse, would you believe it? So very much focused on the Decentraland build in the near term.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of focused heavily on the strategy, and I've kind of my other main focus has moved, I guess, from fundraising, which was a long but successful slog, to now team building. I mean, we have now an incredible team, across protocol, metaverse, decentralized commerce, and just building out that team, structuring, organizing, because we see a huge opportunity for to scale Boson and its usage, and so we are building out products across sort of 3 or 4 verticals where literally the market is just sucking products out of us. So yeah, we're kind of blitzscaling, if you like, across multiple verticals.
Certainly exciting times ahead. And we've got 2 more here, and I think we might be, we've got another one that's just come in as well. Let me just move that over to questions. How can someone get involved in the beta launch?
Yeah, reach out to us. Let's have a chat. As Justin mentioned just now, we can be pretty flexible with our model, if you like. So we obviously have a core approach, but we're very happy to hear from anybody who wants to get involved.
Yeah.
Excellent. And is there a geographic limit to the first rollout? Meaning, will we show the proof of concept for the UK or Singapore to keep real world implications to a manageable level?
That's a great question. Oh, Justin, you go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we're gonna. I don't want to get told off by marketing to give away all our surprises and stuff that they're planning, but yeah, we will be rolling out more of sort of campaign-based, kind of really cool digital to physical quests where you'll go and find Easter eggs and stuff that will be low scale and geographically confined initially, and then scaling. It's a pretty standard recipe to start with a tight geographic focus, highly controlled, and then scale globally. I mean, I've got quite a bit of experience of doing that. I used to run the whole kind of $1 billion Priority Pass group, and we had thousands of merchants worldwide and millions and millions of transactions. So when we launch products, that's how you do it.
Awesome. And one final question here. Do you expect any pushback or a massive competitive reaction to your d-commerce/metaverse universe project from the likes of Amazon and other major internet giants?
I always expect competition. That's why we are building, the best team, and we're scaling as fast as we are. Of course, as I mentioned before, the big challenge is that we are owned by our users. We're owned by the buyers. We're owned by the sellers. We're owned by the token holders. So unless Amazon or Alibaba want to kind of do a massive stock disbursement to all of their users and basically dissolve their centralized structure, it's going to be, that's the barrier they have with community-owned protocols.
Fantastic. We've got one more question. Okay, this really is the last one. Are there any types of commerce that you feel would be a challenge now but are on the roadmap?
Well, everything is on the roadmap, but there will be certain types of commerce that are going to be easier, and right now, I mean, in the same way that Amazon started with books, and that because they fit through the letterbox, there was a huge back catalogue, and therefore they could supply the long tail and all of that. I mean, there are certain types of commerce that suit us, and that also appeal to the audiences that are in the metaverse. And so whether that's sort of like hero items like handbags, or sneakers, and there's a lot of these items that have already got a zeitgeist behind them, and so it makes sense for us to start there. But also the space is expanding so massively. I mean, we recently, one of the sort of emerging digital fashion brands that we are sponsoring and supporting is Ouroboros, and we sponsored them at London Fashion Week just Saturday gone. And so they're just doing these incredible sort of outfits that are way beyond the sort of categories I've just mentioned. So things are moving pretty quickly, and just being there, part of the community with the creators, we will be best placed to support them in their creative efforts.
Great stuff. I'll leave it up to you two. We've actually had one more question come in, which is, hold on, let me tag this here. Do you see Boson ever becoming a threat to Amazon's dominance / monopoly of the internet?
Well, I'll take that. That is the aim is for us to create a future where commerce is not controlled by centralized monopolies. So that our entire vision is to kind of create an alternative where we all share, we all own that infrastructure. It's a public good, and we all, as we use that infrastructure, we all get to share in the value that we create, rather than being in this kind of value farm. So absolutely, the medium and long-term aim of Boson is to create, is to disrupt these monopolies.
Great stuff. That is a wrap on the questions there, and yeah, everyone tuning in is very early for the future, very early in crypto, and certainly early in Boson, and I'm looking forward to being part of this paradigmatic shift that we're hopefully going to see in the nearer future than the more distant. But very exciting times ahead, and massive thank you to everyone that has tuned in for this crowdcast, and huge thank you to Holly and Justin for jumping on as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks very much. This will be available for download on this very same link shortly after we finish with this. And don't forget to follow us on all levels of social media. So Telegram, t.me/Boson Protocol, Twitter, twitter.com/Boson Protocol, and of course, medium.com/Boson Protocol. And stay tuned for our Discord server launch as well. So that is coming up in the near future. But that's all from us for now. So have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.